Hello, you beautiful people. Sorry I'm a little delayed. Baxter decided he was going to eat a whole bunch of grass and puke, so. uh, the life of having a dog. Make sure I'm all set up. Okay. That's right. Hello, Michelle. It was nice chatting with you earlier in Chantel's live. I'm going to get back to work on these clovers. I got this little section right here left to do. I've been trying to make sure I go live at least every Thursday at the same time. And then I've also been off and on going live on Fridays and Sundays when I have the time. And I'm working on paintings that I started before my YouTube. I have like 40 something paintings I've started. So I don't have video of me starting them, and I figure I can work on them in lives, and that way they'll get done. So I'll be picking up another old painting I haven't worked on for a while to do when I finish this one. This one was just the most important one because this is going to a friend whose nephew passed away last year. It's going to be a commemorative painting for him with his favorite Pokemon. He was only 11 when he passed away. And he really loved Pokemon, so he'll get to be a Pokemon trainer in this painting. Yeah, sometimes life can be kind of cruel, but I want to try to make something beautiful for them. So my idea was a heavenly looking landscape, something ethereal, and he had 3 favorite Pokemon I'm going to put in this, and he's going to go right here. His favorite Pokemon, Cinderace, which is a soccer playing rabbit, but this time Cinderace will have a football because he really loved football. And then Pikachu's going to come over here by the tree, and then another one of his favorites up here in the sky. I'm also going to have professional scans done of this, so she can make prints and give it out to the rest of her family too. So that way they have something beautiful to look at. And he can live on in this painting forever in twilight, like the perfect time for when children like to go outside and play. It's also why I'm going so heavy with the details in this one. I want it to be one of those paintings that you can just look at for years and just always see different things. I might even put some smaller Pokemon off in the distance just so like it looks full of life. And if you're wondering what I'm currently working on, these are all clovers. I'm literally painting every individual little clover. But those are the kind of details I love getting lost in. I try my best. I've been in too many situations where all I wanted was somebody to see me and understand what I was going through. And so all I can be is the kind of person I wish I would have had back then. And I feel like that's the best way to apologize to my younger self. This is one of those things I feel like I could use my art for good. Kind of like why I do the painted rocks. I like going out and hiding them for some random person I may never meet, who will just have a piece of my art with them because they found it one day. Working on more. I have about a dozen painted rocks. Just the videos are almost ready, and then I got to edit them and get them going. I'm also working on videos to have like backups of, because we're going to be moving soon, so I don't know how much art I'll be able to do in the middle of a move, and I want to be able to post videos still. My emotional state. I'm glad that they speak to you. I know what it's like to not feel like you're in control of your emotions. And I felt like that was probably one of the best ways to deal with emotions. They exist, give them space, validate them, don't bottle them up. I've seen what bottling up emotions does, both to people and myself. I think I may have actually on one of my rocks. I kind of want to show it. This little guy came out of nowhere. I'm gonna show it. There's 4 painted rocks in the video. I can show one from it early, especially because it's just right here. So this rock that I painted was a fossil I had found. Being in Nevada, our state was underwater for a lot of time. Fossilized shells are super common, so I figured it'd be okay to paint on a fossilized shell. And so I started with painting all of the shells that were in this, and then this little guy just came out of nowhere. I kind of like saw the shape of a slug, so I was like, oh, maybe it could be like a sea slug or something, and I decided that was what I was going to go with. And I kind of just got lost in creating this guy. I have no idea what he's supposed to be, but I love him so much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring myself to hide this rock. I do want to work on some things though. This is the second time I've tried creating like opalescence, like the look of opalescence, and that is something I want to work on because I want to get better at that. Because I was thinking like the underside of seashells and how it's all opalescent. I could use that for like the outside of this guy. Didn't come out perfect, but I'm really happy with him. He's such a weird little goofy guy. So I don't know what I was feeling when I made this guy, but I have a feeling it was just, I was in the same kind of process, just going with the flow, what feels right. What am I feeling in this moment? And he, he just kind of looks like he's looking at me like he's hungry. So yeah, this is one of the rocks from the video, and I think it's my favorite. I think this is one of my favorite painted rocks I've ever done, just because of how goofy this little guy is. How's it going, Illustrated? I do want to get a good digital scan of it so I may be able to use it in the future. My husband and I are working on a shop. So he's one I definitely want to put on something if I can get stickers made. And also, Michelle, like, you are more than welcome to share your experiences if you ever need anybody to talk to. I do my best to respond to everybody on Instagram. Like, you can always message me on Instagram. If you're on Discord, I am in Chantel's group. You can feel free to send me a message there if you ever just need somebody to talk to so you're not suffering in silence. You can vent. I've for quite a few of my friends, I'm just the vent person. One of my best friends, she'll just message me. She's just like, I just need somebody to vent to. And then I'll ask, like, are you looking for someone to agree with you? Are you looking for someone to help make a plan with you? Or are you just wanting someone to listen to you? And sometimes she'll be like, I just need someone to listen to me. I'm gonna swear it's not at you. I'm just upset. And so she'll just like blow up my text messages, or she'll even call me and she'll just let it all out. And then I do my best to try to make her laugh. So if you ever need somebody, just message. We have a lot of good people in my community as well who have also volunteered to just be an ear for somebody who may need it. Well, I am sorry about that, Illustrated. Whoever heated you, may they stub their big toe tonight. Hopefully you can let that anger out. Although there are a lot of reasons to be angry right now, so. And if it's anybody else, there's far better curses for them. I'm also like, nothing is set in stone yet, but I do have like a nice variety. I'm trying to see if I could create my own prompt book, more dealing with like creating art involving emotions and what you're feeling. It is definitely a lot harder than I was expecting. Like, trying to create a themed prompt book rather than just about everything and anything like Mariah's and Chantel's. But I do have like, I've been writing them whenever I think about them. I have a couple dozen prompts already listed out that I've come up with. Ugh, yeah. Well, they can have fun with that trip. I have seen the cost of travel right now. They can willingly put themselves in the middle of what is going on. What was it my niece said? She heard me say that. Like, there was a not so nice woman at a Baskin Robbins when we had taken my niece there. And I had said to Eric, I'm like, I hope she stubs her toe. My niece had heard me. And she's like, why do you hope she stubs her toe? And I was like, it's just a joke curse. So I don't say anything bad or mean. But just to let like Eric know that I'm not happy with her. And my niece was like, I'm not happy with her either. I hope a cat scratches her butt. So that was what my niece had come up with. I hope your nephew is shielded from any of the rhetoric and just hateful things that they say. I do completely understand why you're upset, but with your nephew being a kid, like that makes it a little bit harder. I hope he at least has fun and is shielded from some of that rhetoric, but yes, may your may they stub their toes. Oh, that one hurts. I've done that kind of stuff in my toe. On our couch. It has weird like legs that almost they're still under the couch, but they can like they're close enough to the edge that every once in a while I'll catch my pinky toe on it and I'll stub it. Yeah, when it comes to the kids, my only hope with them is that I hope they're shielded from it. Shielded in a way where they're still able to critically think and eventually as adults understand what was wrong with those situations. Yeah, but I do know at that age, like sometimes things people say stick with them. But I do hope your nephew gets shielded from it. I think I haven't gotten my shorts posted this week because yesterday some of the new news kind of really hurt my heart. I don't know if you guys saw the big ruling from the Supreme Court last night. I'm just I'm so flabbergasted. I cannot believe it passed, which is a state cannot um what is it? Basically conversion camps are allowed. Conversion therapy is something that the states cannot stop. And then I'm just that one made me really upset. I haven't been able to concentrate on making a short and doing the editing because of it. So if you're not aware, like conversion camps are absolutely horrible places. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm having such a hard time with this. I have heard a few firsthand accounts of stuff that goes on in these conversion camps, and they're they're absolutely despicable places. It's legalized torture for children. So, conversion camps are things that are created for LGBT individuals, specifically children. Um, so, to give you an example of one of my firsthand accounts, this is just trigger warning for anybody. This I'm gonna keep it as like I'm not gonna go graphic with it, but I'm gonna kind of explain what happens at some of them. So, from this person, when he was 13 years old, he was found with one of his friends in his neighborhood. They were both the same age and they were e- exploring each other. Um, well, when they were found, this person's mom ended up taking him to a conversion camp that was actually run by BYU, which is Utah's university. Uh, in this conversion camp, which was on campus, mind you, what they would do is they would strip him and they would strap him down into a table, a medical table, an examination one, and make him watch imagery of adults doing stuff. And if they felt that he got aroused at an inappropriate time, they would electrocute him. If he would not become aroused at a time they felt like he should become aroused, they would electrocute him. And they did this every day, including Christmas Day, his birthday, New Year's. There was no break. It was every single day for about a year and a half before his grandmother, who had spent that entire time trying to locate him, found where he was at. And mind you, this was in the 70s, so it wasn't easy to locate people. But she ended up finding him and she pulled him out. And so, and that's just one of the stories that I know. And that's why hearing that this stuff is now legal, because states were shutting it down and making it illegal, it is actually versus the state of Colorado. And so hearing that these are now legal, just it was really hard for me to hear that yesterday. Yeah, he was 13 years old, disappeared for over a year and a half. And mind you, the people doing this to him were registered nurses. Yeah, most of the stories that I have heard firsthand accounts are from Utah. Um, but it isn't just Utah. Oklahoma was the other one, and um, West Virginia. They happen all over the country. That was why, I can't believe the ruling either. 8-1. I was that one was some really hard news to hear because it's just legally torturing children for the sake of torturing children in my eyes. I will say though, it's not just an LDS thing. A lot of the conversion camps in the country are Christian owned. And of course, it doesn't work. Like all of the stats that we have records of show that it didn't work. But something tells me that doesn't matter. It's just I will keep doing my best to speak out against this kind of stuff though, and do my best to stand up against it because I feel like that's all you can do, no matter who's screaming in your face. But I definitely am gonna do everything I can to try to find some way of getting uh, like that ruling overturned. I don't even know how. I've been going to the protests. I've been calling my representatives. I've been doing my best to help those in need in my community, trying to get others to get involved as well. I feel like it's such an uphill battle. What I really think needs to happen, I don't think there's enough people willing to do it, which is complete like complete shutdown. If you're struggling paying rent, that's a reason for a shutdown. If you're struggling to buy food, that's a reason for a shutdown. The government's not helping us in the way that it should be as a service. Everything should get shut down. But our system is just so built upon keeping people trapped. With food insecurity, housing insecurity, the cost of living is as high as it is, people feel trapped like they have to go to work because they can't afford to lose that kind of stuff. But on a plus side to that, one of the things that I have one right here, I'm going to be working on. This is another protest sign I'm going to be working on. What I'm going to end up doing, since I have a couple, is I'm going to make free prints available on my website. I'm going to be meeting up with a friend to get good scans of my current two signs so that I could get cleaned up digital files of them, and whoever wants them can take them to whatever printing place they want to go to so they can print them out. Basically, just I'm not claiming any kind of rights over them. Just whatever you want to use them for. If you want to put them on a T-shirt, as long as you're not like selling them, because I want them to just be free. We have what, maybe 150 feet from my front door. We have a little like neighborhood pantry. Nothing like spectacular, but it can hold a bunch of like dried and shelf stable foods. I've been doing my part and filling it up, and people I know are using it because it's empty so often. So Eric and I, when we go grocery shopping, we do get food just for the little neighborhood pantry box. No questions asked. I don't even like try to monitor it, even like we have multiple windows that face it. I just do my best. Like I don't want to see who's using it. I don't want to make it look like people are watching it, because I know that's something a lot of people feel shame over. Hello, Rebecca. Welcome, welcome. I think the big one that we want to work on next is getting like dried milk, because that seems to be a tough one for people to get. How's it going, buddy? Nice to see you here. I'm working on you could see the difference between where I haven't done the clovers to the spots I've done them. I'm not really set up for anything like that at the moment. Um, I haven't really thought about it. It's just in something like my husband and I have been trying to do. I don't really like. I don't really make it a point to talk about it too much, because I'm not doing it for attention or anything. It's just whoever needs help to help. But if you would like to help, what I would currently at this moment just suggest is buy the dried milk for your local food banks. See if there's any pantries in your area, because milk is one of those things that is really hard when you are struggling to get, but its nutritional value is so important, especially to children, just because of how much nutrients it has, that I would really encourage, just support your area. If you can buy some dried milk and spare some of it, I know there are families who would be super appreciative of it. And baby formula, that's the other one that it's expensive, but we do get when we can, and we do put the baby formula in there as well. Nice. I'm gonna try to get the clovers done with this. That's very, I'm very happy to see that, Michelle. We definitely need people like who are willing to do that all over the world if they can. I don't want anybody to put themselves out though. There's no need to put yourself out. If you are struggling, you got to make sure that your family is taken care of. There are tons of ways to help. You know what? I think I have a buy me a coffee. I think the link is in my. If you send it there, I will use it to purchase some dried milk or baby formula. My buy me a coffee is not in there. It's Sin City Yeti. I think it's buymeacoffee.com backslash Sin City Yeti. I don't use it that much, but I will at least, like, you can add a message to it, and I will put it towards getting some food for the pantry. Oh, what in the world just happened to the chat? There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to keep it more focused on like ways that we can help at the moment. I'm a little like down some not nice laws passed here in the States that really broke my heart yesterday. So, talking about ways that we can help kind of helps redirect that energy, and provides ways that we could counter some of the negative things happening in the world. What is the one we get? I think it might be by Nestle too. What is it? I don't know. I don't have a baby. I don't really pay attention to the label, like, other than like what the age range it's for. That's really the only thing that I pay attention to, just to make sure like we have a variety of age ranges. That is true. Artists have always been at the forefront of any kind of revolution throughout history, any kind of adversity. Artists have always been there, whether they are performers, musicians, painters, drawers. And whether the artists are documenting reality or spreading a moment of relief, artists have always had a way of being there in moments of need. Actually, not too long ago, I was reading about the history of jesters and clowns, and how like part of the history includes people dressing up in rags to act a fool and be goofy during like famines and periods of war, just to like make others like who were dealing with it laugh, to try to help get them through those bad times, because laughter is really important when dealing with stress, so that you can get through those periods. So yeah, it's kind of cool how much art plays into humanity's ability to bounce back and get through horrible times. I think one of my favorite things about like gesture history was gestures would say things to the king that the everyday people wanted to say, but because he was the fool, he was allowed to say those kinds of things to the king. That kind of stuff makes me laugh. The king always thought like, "Oh, it's a joke," but really like saying the horrible things straight to the king's face. Have you seen all of the not like all of the cave paintings they found that were like really super old in I think it's Indonesia? The oldest cave paintings they've ever found. And the very first one that we have hit record of that we know of, the oldest one was a handprint. And then there were pictures of some animals a little bit younger, but not quite as old as that handprint. Someone taking ochre pigment and just leaving their handprint on the cave wall. I was here. Yeah, gesture and clown history is actually quite amusing. There's so much lore to it. I had no idea. Was it whose video was I watching? I stumbled onto the video after. Was it one of Chantel's? It may have been one of Chantel's. The artist in the video had made a clown, and then afterwards my FYP was showing me a video of like the history of clowns. I put it on, and then it sent me into like this rabbit hole where then I went online and I just started doing research, because I was like, huh, I never really thought about the history of clowns. And so then I went to Wikipedia and I was like looking through digitized old books, going through pictures of books I couldn't read because I didn't understand, like they're in a foreign language, but I could at least look at the pictures of them and just kind of see like how clowning has evolved over the years within humanity. Yes, the pig, that's right. The boar. Cave paintings, I am amazed by them. We have a lot of pictographs here in the desert from the Native Americans. They're some of my favorite spots to hike in, although a lot have gotten closed over the years, just closed to the public, which I understand why, but I'm very thankful I've gotten to see some on my hiking trips. There are still some open to the public, and I really want to go this summer. Yeah. Clowns have definitely changed over the years. That's freaking cool, Michelle. Ha- I wish I could have had a chance to see you. That's so freaking cool. I did drag and I called myself a clown. That was about the closest I came. I'd put on I'm already a tall guy. I am 6'2". So I'm a pretty tall guy. And when I dressed in drag, I had Mary Jane heels that were 6 inches tall. And I wore a headdress that was like another 7 inches. So I was like 7 foot something with like from the top of my headdress down to my heels. And I would call myself a clown. I'd use clown white to paint my face. It was actually for a nonprofit I was in. We would dress ridiculous because if we've had the motto like if we looked ridiculous, people will know we're not going to judge them because how can somebody who looks like a clown judge another person for how they look? I wasn't real like I still wore like regular like I had cocktail dresses I would wear with my heels. And I did my face in all white, but I would do like not clown makeup, but just patterns. And I wonder if I could pull up a picture. And how's it going, Leanne? I'm gonna have to find a picture. I can't show it. I wish I could screen share. There we go. There's pictures. I don't think I have shared this yet on YouTube. I'm not ashamed of it. I will talk about it. It's just not it hasn't really come up. But let's see, where is it? I know I've got to have a picture somewhere. Okay, I'm in like the older pictures of myself. I used to do my makeup all the time. I'm like finding pictures, Halloween costumes and stuff. I'll have to dress up for Halloween one year. Ah, there we go. Okay. So, here is a picture of me. This would have been 2009. There are my Mary Janes. This dress came from a thrift store. It was a vintage dress from the 1950s. And then there's my headdress. So the group I was with was called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And we would go out like this to raise money. And we had an AIDS drug assistance program. How's it going, Chantel? So all of the money we raised, not a dime of it came back to us. We had no overhead costs. It was just to help individuals who couldn't afford their medications get their medications. And we would raise thousands of dollars for this. And yeah, that's one of my outfits. And there's a close-up of my makeup. It was supposed to be a phoenix. So, like, that's the head of the phoenix. That's supposed to be the wing, and my eye was supposed to be the body with the tail coming down. This was a thank you. That was my drag. So like not like the big hair and everything that you think of like with RuPaul's Drag Race, but it was still a form of drag. There are times that I miss it. We actually have a branch up here in Reno, but a lot of things happened, and some of the members are still here, so maybe we could get it back up and going. Well, now you've seen me in my my old drag pictures, Chantel. Oh, thank you. I had a lot of fun with it. Also, I will say, like, I used extra fine glitter because glitter didn't crack. So, like, the clown white base makeup would sometimes crack for, you know, we would be in makeup for hours. So I would set it with talcum powder and extra fine white glitter. And then all of the makeup I would draw on with glitter so that it would just hide all the cracks, because with it sparkling like that, no one would ever notice the mistakes. So if you're ever doing a makeup, your makeup, and you're like, oh, there's some mistakes here I want to hide, use glitter. Glitter will hide all of the mistakes. And they have biodegradable extra fine glitter now, and I have used it, and I liked it quite a bit. It still was super shiny to me and looked fantastic. So yeah, there is even biodegradable glitter out there. The extra fine stuff. Yeah. My fun facts. I'm full of fun facts. Well, since you guys are here, Michelle was the only one in here earlier and she saw it. But what one of my painted rock videos that I've been like editing for, it's all done, but I want to show off one of the rocks from it, and since you guys are here in my live, I can share it because this is my new favorite painted rock. So I found this rock on one of my hikes, and it was a fossil. So all I did was I painted all the clamshells that were in the rock already, because they're super common. I figured, I'm like, no one's gonna get mad at me painting over fossilized clamshells just because they're so common. But then, like, out of nowhere, I saw like this little like slug shape in the rock, and I'm like, oh, I could make that like a sea slug or something. And I got totally lost in painting, and this guy ended up coming out. I have no idea what he is. But I love him so much. I don't think I'm ever gonna be able to get rid of this rock, just because this guy is so weird, and I would probably die for him. He is one of the best little things I have ever created on a rock. This guy is just, he's such a weird little guy, and he's giving me like the I'm hungry vibes. So it makes me love him even more. Armadillo slug, yeah. It just, the weird things that come out of my mind, because I wasn't thinking about it. I was just kind of painting and getting lost in the process. And then that guy came out, and I was like, this is not the destination I was expecting with this rock, but I love that I have arrived. My husband also wants to steal it, so that's gonna... I'm like, I don't want to give this one up, though, but he also really wants the rock. I told him, like, you have to wait for me to at least film my outro so that I have it for the outro, and then we can decide who's gonna get this guy. A photorealistic Pokemon. He could be a photorealistic Pokemon. I wonder what he would evolve into. Because I feel like he's definitely like a baby. He's not a fully evolved Pokemon. Right? As long as you keep it in the living room so I can see it as well every day, you can have it. I need to come up with a name for him too, because he definitely deserves a name. But he's definitely my favorite little weirdo I've created. Our the family room, the uh could either put it in his office or take it to work is the one I'm really worried about because he's taken quite a bit of my artwork to work and they hang in his office at work. I guess like we could put it in the bedroom. I was just thinking the living room because I already have all of my like surreal stuff out here in the living room. My bedroom's full of Pokemon. Uh the office is filled with some of my Disney artwork and painted rocks, and then the living room is filled with my surreal stuff. So like my artwork is kind of organized in the house. Although that's going to be changing soon. We're going to be moving in the next like 60 days. Lester Lester could work too. Oh, because it sounds like luster. And I was going for like a pearl essence look. That is something I need to work on. Like it definitely like it's not really giving pearlescent. I was trying to paint pearlescent, so it's something I want to work on. I want to work on the pattern of pearlescence, but I think Lester could work. It also he's got a bald head like Fester from the Addams Family, so like it rhymes with Fester, so Lester could work too. I kind of do like that. No, we're staying in Reno, but our current landlord decided that they were going to tell us that our lease was ending 30 days before it actually ended. They did that to our neighbor that we kind of liked too, but then they told him they're not going to renew his lease. And they've just done some other stuff that are like, you guys do know this is breaking laws. And so since our lease is just ending, my husband and I are like, we're not going to take any chances. They're already showing us that they're willing to break laws. They're very disorganized if they think that our lease, multiple neighbors' leases have ended at a month early. So I have a friend who's actually a property manager, and she has a condo that's on the market and been on the market for a while, and she's gonna let us sign a 2-year lease. So like that's kind of a good deal we can't pass up on. She's gonna drop the price for us and let us sign a 24-month lease. And I get my views back. It overlooks some of our southern mountains. Right now we're like so inner city, we don't have any views of anything. And I've missed looking out into nature. And this condo overlooks our southern mountains. So I'm like, I'll get to see nature again. And it's really close to some really good hiking trails that I've never been on before. Yeah. I've fallen into rabbit holes of landlords in the UK, and I'm just like, oh, so this isn't just a US problem. I've seen some horror stories from the landlords in the UK. But since they're showing us their true colors, I was just like, I don't think we should take any more chances. We're gonna lose our garage and our backyard, which is sad. I'll have a balcony, and luckily, we were kind of already getting concerned with this landlord, so we did plant our garden a couple weekends ago, but everything is in the what are they called? The grow totes. They're bags that you can fill up like pots and you can grow your gardens in them. So we planted everything in those instead of the dirt. And I was like, I'm really glad we did that because now we could take all of our crops with us. And like I do feel like I'm okay giving up the backyard with being super close to hiking trails. My biggest concern is when I go on walks with the dogs, because we're right up against a really busy street, is something happening to them. Because we have to walk along the street for their walk, and dogs can be unpredictable, and I don't like walking them on such a busy road. This one's a little tucked away, so the road that we're on isn't super busy, and then we have a bunch of hiking trails near us. Best part, well, I shouldn't say best part. The other big trade-off is Eric's work is a little bit further away now, but instead of only taking 8 minutes to get to work, it's going to take him 15 minutes to get to work. Yeah, I'm really glad we got them. We found them on sale. They were um $1.25 each. So we got 10 of them. I was like, that's a deal we can't really pass up on since we wanted to grow our own stuff, and I'm so happy we did that. I was gonna be sad if we planted all of these fruits and flowers just for us to move. So there's gonna be some trade-offs, but we do get a little bit bigger living space, and I do think we can paint. So like we can't paint the walls in this place, but I do think we can paint in the new place. Which I if we can, I'm gonna be super excited for. I haven't been able to paint walls in so long. Hello, Gray Cloud. Yeah, I thought I turned off all of the notifications on my phone. Apparently, I did not. But I am excited to like potentially like record hikes with the doggies too. I have so many videos from prior hikes and walks and stuff that we did because I love looking for the animals in my area. I've got marmots, coyotes, jackrabbits, hawks, eagles, all sorts of wildlife. I'll get to do that again. I've been missing that. The other good thing is though, like our lease will be up in May. Um, so not quite the heat of summer, but it'll be warm but not too hot. Like June, July, and August are months you do not move in Nevada just because it is so hot. You have fun with Moon. Yes, I'm gonna be just working on this for my lives until it's done. I don't have much left with the landscape itself, but I also have to add in Pokemon. So there's probably about six at least lives. More likely more like 10. Just be realistic. I probably got like 10 lives left. The details are the best part to me. And then I know I touched every square inch of this canvas. Every dot of paint was placed on purpose. Yeah, Nevada's we do have a whole bunch of animals around us. The other thing, my favorite thing to post on Instagram, which really seems to get everybody who follows me in Europe like going, are how many lizards we have out here. We have lizards and snakes. So many different kinds, like um the western fence lizard, the Gila monster, the rattlesnake, the gardener snake. We got the Great Basin rattle. We also like the Western Diamondback. Um, so many. I can't even remember all of their names. Like the Western Fence Lizard is the most common one, and so like I'll always see it and I'll post pictures, and then so many of my friends from Europe are like, "You got animals like that around you?" Like, yeah, I used to go out all the time and catch them. They're not that big of a deal. I bet you do. You just got to find the right rhythm, your zone. And I do love that piece I made for Rose. It's still one of the my favorite paintings I've ever created. I got like a list of 20 that are like always going to be super close to my heart. Rose's is definitely in that. So is Christine's. I really love the way hers came out. What did I call Rose's jubilant absurdity? Oh, we have a lot of insects too. We're coming up on Mormon cricket season. We also get locusts. Sometimes they'll we'll get so many they just cover buildings. I actually did get a really good copy of the painting I made for Rose without her characters in it, just the landscape. Because I thought like if I ever did do anything with it, I figure like I could do something with the like just the landscape. That way, like Rose has her special painting that's just hers with her characters in it. But then like I could do something with the landscape, like maybe put it on a journal or turn it into a sticker. How's it going, Molly? Thank you. This is a tribute painting for a friend of mine. Her nephew passed away last year. He was 11 years old, but he really loved Pokemon. So she knows I love making Pokemon landscapes, and she asked me if I could do something like that for her. And once I finish this landscape, I'm gonna paint her nephew, Kenny. He's gonna go right here with his favorite Pokemon, Cinderace, kicking an American football to him, with his other favorite Pokemon, Pikachu, and then another favorite, Jirachi, up here, so that like I'm capturing his childhood with his favorite Pokemon in a forever twilight. And I'm having a lot of fun putting the details in this because I want to make sure this is a special painting that her and her family will enjoy for years. And I'm also going to take good quality copies of this so that she can make prints to give out to her family as well. It was such a tragic moment, but I wanted to do something that they can have a tribute piece for that would make them smile and feel the love. I don't mind crickets as long as they're not in the house. I actually like their chirps. I used to go camping all the time, so like I would hear crickets and sleep to crickets, so I kind of like their chirps. I just don't want them in the house because they like to eat fibers. Yeah, those were his favorites: Cinderace, Pikachu, and Jirachi. A very interesting trio, but I think like I did a pretty good job of like capturing a landscape that I feel like all three of them would feel natural in. And I might add a few more just because I know like with where I'm going to be placing Kenny and Cinderace, there's going to be like it might feel a little off balance with Pikachu right here, so I might add just some extra little Pokemon in the background. Just give them something else to find. Like while looking at this, somebody be like, "Is that a Pokemon over there too?" That's what happens with the Mormon crickets for us too, but they don't chirp like regular crickets. They kind of look like do you guys remember that kids game, what was it, Cutie or Cooties, where you had to like roll the dice and build your little cootie bug? I think that's what it was called, cootie bug. An old game. I used to play that when I was a like toddler. Uh, but that's kind of what the Mormon crickets remind me of. They look so weird. They're so rounded and they're big. They're like 2 inches big. Bug dive. That's funny. Floette would be a really good one. Oh, I could do Eternal Flower Floette. That is a really good call, buddy. I think I am gonna have to put Floette in this. I wanted to wrap, yes. I have some paintings where I just did the solid color, but this is one of those special paintings where I want to make sure that like the entire thing is covered. I'm not even showing it on camera. Is this in screen? There we go. Yeah, the whole thing. Wanted to make sure like no details overlooked. This is too special of a painting for somebody. And it's taken a long time. I think I'm at 120. I think I know I'm over 120 hours. I don't think I'm quite to 130 yet. I'll have to look at all the all the time I've spent on it. she's a good friend. So I don't have any problems pouring that amount of time into a painting for her. And the next plant after these little clovers I'm adding in everywhere are dandelions. And then I might touch up the pathway a little bit, just because it's kind of looking flat in some areas, especially compared to the rest of the detail. But like the dirt patch over here, I think once I add in some dandelions, this is gonna look fine. Maybe do some blades of glass. Oh, and the clover flowers. I can't forget them. I was gonna add in some clover flowers too. I was gonna do pink ones because I don't have very much pink down here. I got pink up in the sky. So I want some touches of pink down here just to kind of like tie everything together, because like I got the purples and the oranges from the sky down here. I don't really have any blue, but I got green down here. I have green up there. I should probably add some blue somewhere. Maybe I could do like little blue forget-me-nots. We are working on it. Eric and I are looking at doing it. We would have to start with print on demand, and I have been researching more companies. I think we're gonna stick with one, mainly because like their customer service was probably the best. We were able to get something returned and replaced without any issue. And that's like the biggest thing I want to make sure, like if there's an issue with the product, I want to make sure you guys can get a good quality print and return it easily. I did some college level art classes, Art 101, Art 102, and I took a graphic communications class. But that was the extent of it. Oh, and a pottery class. I took a pottery class too. So that was kind of the extent of it. It just I've done art like my whole life. I discovered coloring as a baby, like as a toddler, basically a baby, and I haven't stopped creating since. Am I in screen? Yeah. Graphic communication wasn't my favorite. However, I did really enjoy learning how to make the colors from cyan, magenta, and yellow. There was even a period there where I challenged myself, where I think for a year, every painting I made, I only used cyan, magenta, yellow, black, and white. And any color I needed, I had to mix. That was probably my favorite thing from the class. And I guess I did also kind of learn Photoshop in it, although I still don't use Photoshop. Eric and I are currently learning Procreate so that I could use that with Eric's help to get stuff ready for the shop. Oh, there's Lucario and Riolu. I can ask if Kenny liked those two Pokemon too, because if they're gonna be in the front, I want to try to like stick to Pokemon he liked. I just know his top three were Jirachi, Pikachu, and Cinderace. But I feel like Riolu and Lucario is one of those that like little 11-year-old boys would probably love Lucario. Even Greninja. Yeah, there are a bunch of blue Pokemon that I could put down here. Yeah, those are the safe ones. Although I would have never guessed that Jirachi was his favorite Pokemon because that was one of like when Jirachi came out, there were not a lot of people that liked Jirachi. They didn't hate it, it just wasn't people's favorite. Yeah, well, and Floette though. I could with Floette being the flowers here, Floette has a blue flower variant, but I think the Eternal Flower Floette would be a little bit more fitting just for this ethereal landscape. Its whole story is about how old it is and it being loved so much that it was brought back from after it had passed away. I know a lot of Pokemon lore. As my friends say, I am a walking Pokédex. Right? Deoxys was the one that everybody thought was super cool. And then when like Fire Red and Leaf Green came out and it had different forms, and then we saw its final form in Emerald, like that was the one everybody was going crazy for. Your daughter might like some of my upcoming videos. I have a couple Pokemon paintings planned out again that I can do full recording for. One I'm really excited about. Gonna feature Melmetal and Meltan. I know those are random Pokemon, but I had an idea with them working a smelter or a blacksmith shop, so I want to paint that. Okay, I got all of them down there. I definitely want to get started on the dandelions today. That would be pretty cool, but I don't know if it would fit in a blacksmith shop. I haven't done any of the Dynamax or G Max Pokemon. I've done some Megas. I haven't done any of the Z moves, and I haven't done any terastallized Pokemon. But I do kind of want to do a Dynamax or a Gigantamax. I kind of want to do Kingler. Kingler's one of my favorite Gigantamax Pokemon. I love his bubble beard that he gets. Kingler has a soft spot in my heart though, just because he says cookie. It was one of my favorite. Like that was a vocal stem of mine when I was younger, watching the anime and then seeing Krabby and Kingler for the first time, and Krabby's little. I would do that all the time, and I would annoy so many people around me because that was a vocal stem. And then the episode where I got to watch Krabby evolve into Kingler, and it went cookie. I was that then became my vocal stem. So they got a soft spot in my heart because they became my vocal stems for a while. Oh, Cricketune. I like Cricketune. I do feel like they could have. I feel like they could have pushed it a little bit more with its design. It better get an evolution. Cricketune is in desperate need of an evolution. He's a good crab Pokemon. I thought I was hearing one of the dogs. My life was a little late because Baxter drank too much water and then puked. And so I was cleaning that up. And I thought I heard the noises and I got a little paranoid there for a second. I was like, oh no, please don't do that. I wish I could help them understand. Like you don't need to gorge yourself on water. You are in a safe place, like safe place. There's plenty of water. There will always be water for you. And sometimes like Baxter just I feel like he zones out when he's drinking water. And like he forgets he's doing it, but he's just doing it. And I gotta snap him back into reality. Like, come on, Baxter. Otherwise, yeah, he'll just drink so much. I think their walk tired them out today. That's the best reason to go on walks, though. It wears them out. They love it. They have fun, and then they nap the rest of the afternoon. All right, Leanne, you have a good one. Oh no, Michelle. That's why I like with Chantel's live this morning, I had to get the dishes done, clean up and get the dogs ready for their walks and everything. So I just had Chantel on my TV. Like it's not as fun because you can't really participate, but I do still like get to listen to Chantel. And yesterday I think it was Ashley I was listening to while I was also cleaning and getting some stuff done. It's almost like I have somebody here, and then like I get in this mindset of like, oh, I have guests, I need to get the house cleaned so it's not messy for them. Because like I kind of know Chantel and Ashley, so then I'm like, I gotta clean up, make sure the house looks nice. Oh, yes. Ah, too many nights. Too many nights. Eric and I waking up and then finding out one of them did that, and then like, well, I guess one of the dogs is sick. Being half asleep, trying to remove all the sheets from the bed, or trying to stop like Onyx. Onyx likes to re-eat it afterwards, and stopping him like, no, get away from it, you nasty! Stop doing that. Yeah, it is kind of like body doubling. It's like gamifying my responsibilities. I find that helps sometimes. And where like if I have somebody I know on the TV, like that's when I'm normally watching everybody's art videos is while I'm cleaning and doing stuff, because then it kind of like, oh, I know them, and just hearing them in the house is like, oh, I gotta clean, I gotta clean, I gotta clean. So I get everything done, and I don't get as distracted. Oh, the dishes are my least favorite, but I was doing them to Chantel and you earlier. Was getting them done and watching Chantel pack her orders. I gotta have something fun going on while I'm doing my least favorite chore. I okay, so I can't blame you. We have two giant Costco boxes of plasticware. However, the reason I got it is one, I hate doing the dishes too, but two, it's plant-based plastic and it's biodegradable. You can actually compost it, which I thought was super cool. But these boxes that had like 280 forks, spoons, and knives were $6.99. And so I got two boxes of those, and we still have them because like when I have like my sister, brother-in-law, my niece over, I don't want to do all of those dishes either. So yeah, we have plasticware for that too. And I could throw it into my garden. That's the thing I think is the coolest is like I found biodegradable plasticware for super cheap. Yeah, I haven't seen them at Costco since I got them either. I was like, every once in a while they'll get those products that you just like you see it once and then you never see it again. And I feel like it was one of those times, and I got super lucky with it. And I had tested it out. The forks, spoons, and knives do biodegrade. It took about 3 weeks for them to degrade in the soil. I thought that was super cool. I like did my own little experiment because I was curious. I'm like, are these really biodegradable, or are they just saying they're biodegradable? But no, they are. Right? Yeah, I know for a fact they biodegrade. I tested them myself. So it doesn't just say it. And yeah, 3 weeks isn't too bad for plasticware. And yeah, I have backups now. So like if I ever just where and my husband and I have done that. We've had nights. I'm not gonna lie. We've had nights where it's like we don't want to do anything, and we just grab some of our paper plates and plasticware. Life gets hard sometimes. I completely understand. It's so cool. Just like being able to like throw that kind of stuff out into a composter and then being able to test it for yourself. That was like that I think is the coolest. Just being able to test it for myself and seeing like, oh, it really does work. The company's not just throwing that label on there. I'm the same way. All of my shirts and my pants are hung up in the closet because I hate folding. Although Eric doesn't like me doing the laundry, so like I kind of lucked out marrying Eric because he hates the way I do laundry, so he I'm not allowed to do laundry. He doesn't like the way I sort clothes or like I'm very particular about like temperature settings in it, and I try to keep like fabrics together with like colors together, and he's just like, no, I'm gonna just do laundry. And so he just does the laundry because he doesn't like the way I sort things. So I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna complain then. So he's the one that does laundry. I'm not allowed to do it because he doesn't like the way I do it. I I can't say that I don't do stuff like that as well illustrated. I can't tell you how many trips I've taken, and like I try to go to places where I can also do my laundry because like if I'm gonna pack everything back into my suitcase to go home, I would rather like clean everything wherever I'm at and then pack it and take it home just so like I don't have to worry about doing laundry first thing when I get home. And like I've definitely lived out of my suitcase at home because all my clothes are clean. And I'm like, well, they're here anyways. And I'm going to wear them. So I'll just wear them and then put them in the dirty clothes afterwards. Oh, yes. I don't think we have, like, where I live, we could probably wait a night, even probably most of the day before realizing, oh, we left clothes in the washer. I don't think you have that same luxury because of mold and mildew. My side of the world is very dry, so I feel like we don't have to worry too much about mold and mildew. If we leave them too long, they'll get stinky. But I, I do I do think we're kind of lucky there because we can stand to like forget them a night, like oh we forgot to put the clothes into the dryer. Yes, we're spared so much from mold. Oh my goodness. Although that sounds, I can see the problems it has because we almost, before taking this duplex, we had looked at an old Victorian home that was built in like 1909. And there were a lot of issues with it. And even though we would be renting, I'm like, we're going to have to fix stuff. I don't know if I want to fix stuff in a place I'm renting. And so we didn't take it. Like, yeah, I could imagine you've got some hurdles living in a cottage that old. Right? A 100-year-old Victorian home sounds really good on paper too, till you realize that you have to buy a special type of heating oil because the entire house's heating works off of oil. And it's like, it's not a cooking oil. I think it's like kerosene. The entire house runs on kerosene. And it's just kind of like, yeah, that sounds good on paper until you realize you're going to have to buy like 50 gallons of kerosene to get you through the winter. So you understand that struggle, Chantel. Eric and I, we thought about it and we're like, no. I mean, our house, the duplex we're currently in, was built in 1954. So it's already like a super old duplex as well. But luckily, it had just been renovated before we moved in. So a lot of the issues were already like addressed. And then this new condo we're moving into is only 10 years old. So we would have those lovely beams, but they covered it for an attic space that's like 8 inches deep. So I'm just like, what was the point of covering all the lovely wood beams in the ceiling for an attic space I can't even use? Chantel, tell us your ghost stories. Do you have any? Hopefully, nothing malicious. See, that I think would be kind of cool. We almost moved into an apartment, but they didn't have any availability, and we didn't want to wait and go month to month at our other place to wait for an opening. But there was an apartment complex near our oldest cemetery here in town, and I wanted to live next to the cemetery so bad, just because so much of that area is undeveloped because of how old the cemetery is. I was like, we don't have to worry about traffic too bad because like there's nothing over here because of the cemetery. Eric was a little apprehensive. He's like, I don't know if I want to live next to a graveyard. It's like, why? It's gonna be quiet. And honestly, with all of the ghost towns I've been to here in Nevada, my favorite thing to do with first, whenever I get to a ghost town or a town that's just been abandoned, the first thing I look for is the cemetery. Because I want to go look at the gravestones, see if one, I can still read them, and if I can, like, see who's buried there and just like think about that person and what their life might have been like. Who's telling like when the last time anybody thought about that person in the ground was. So like I feel like it's a great way to kind of honor them and pay my respects to the ghost town I'm visiting. Because now I'm putting time and energy out there regarding like who this person is and what their life could have been like. And I don't know if like we're gonna feel that kind of stuff in the afterlife, but I think it would be kind of cool, like if you did feel about it, like in the afterlife, if you're like, oh, somebody's thinking about me, and you're like, there's this new feeling that you get whenever anybody alive thinks about you. So I don't know. This is kind of some of the things that I think about when I go to those ghost towns, and why I think it'd be so cool to live next to one of those old graveyards. Welcome back, Great Cloud. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit like Coco. Yeah, we have an ofrenda because Eric likes to pay the respects to that side of his family. So for the Day of the Dead, we celebrate with marigolds and an ofrenda. We put up pictures of those that we have lost, and just think about them and honor them. I've only had, as far as I can remember, I've only had one like experience I would say is supernatural. I'm not like a huge believer in that kind of stuff, but I do think like there are things that happen that like at this point in time we can't explain, so I just accept them that I can't explain them. And one of those was when I was little. We used to go. My dad would take me up to a town called Ely, Nevada, and he was a steam engineer. So he was the engineer for one of the steam locomotives, number 40. She is the ghost train. But when he was doing his like stuff, because he volunteered there for the museum, he would run the train for excursions and tours and things like that for families and anybody visiting. So I'd done it so many times, like it got to a point where, no, I don't want to go this time. I'm going to stay behind. And I would go explore this train yard. And I was 11, 12 years old at the time. And I had free reign of an entire train yard. No one else there, just me. And I could do whatever I want. So I explored, and I would go through like the engine house, the water tower, the repair house, the conductor's quarters. But I will say, like, the one that really freaked me out the most was the engine house. So I was exploring the engine house, and I was on one side because the engine house was broken up into two separate rooms. They had one for repairs and working on the steam locomotives, and then they had one where the steam locomotives would just like rest for whenever they weren't running. And I was in the side where they were resting, and they had a locomotive that had been in an accident a few years prior that they were rebuilding. And I heard something over with that engine. That engine was engine 93. So if you ever see Ely, Nevada, like, yeah, engine 93 runs. Engine 40 is the ghost train. And this was when they were rebuilding 93 after the accident. So I heard something, and I went in there, and I was kind of like looking around. Mind you, these steam locomotives are huge. They engine 40 was a passenger locomotive, but 93 was a mining locomotive. So this thing was huge because it had to pull trains that were like half a mile long, filled with ore that they were digging up from the silver mines. So it is a big locomotive. And I went in there exploring, trying to figure out what this noise was I heard. And then all of a sudden, like this mist like kind of came into the engine house, like one of the locomotives had just come back in, but there was no locomotive there, and there were no noises from the locomotive, but this mist was just around. So that kind of like confused me. And then I got off engine 93, and I was walking beside it, and I heard a creak, and I looked up, and it looked like engine 93 was like tilted over me. That freaked me out, and I ran, and all I heard was this like loud crash. Like it had landed back down onto the tracks and like the ground had vibrated. I was so freaked out. I had locked myself in my dad's truck and I was in there for like 2 hours waiting for them to come back. And they knew something had happened in the engine room because one of the giant wrenches was on the ground. And these wrenches are 6 feet long. They are huge. There was no way at 11 years old I could have picked up one of these wrenches. But one of them was on the ground. And my dad thought I had like done something to mess with this wrench and knock it onto the ground. I didn't even know one of the wrenches had fallen, but I told him like, no, I didn't touch them, but he knew something was up because I was kind of freaked out and I didn't go back into that engine house for a while because that really freaked me out. And I have no idea what it was, but I did find out later on that there was somebody who passed away in the engine house. They were coupling the engine to the tender, and like back in like the 1920s and 30s, they had to have a person stand between the engine and the tender to rehook them up to get like the brake lines together. And he ended up getting coupled, and like they would call their families and they would have their families come say their goodbyes, and then they would uncouple the train and they would pass away. And I found out that somebody had passed away in the engine house like that. So after that, I was just like, I figured it was that guy. Thing that I felt that shook the ground was probably that wrench falling, because those wrenches are heavy. They're like 250, 300 pounds. They are gigantic wrenches. So I'm pretty sure like that's what I heard fall, but I don't know for certain. And like because I didn't turn around and look, like later on, I'm like thinking back to it, I'm like, could that have just been a warning to get me out so like I didn't get crushed by that wrench falling? But I have no idea. All I know is it just really freaked me out, and that's like my only supernatural experience I've ever had, where I cannot explain what happened there. I felt like something happened. Stay away from my silver. I'm almost done with the sides. I'm definitely not going to have much left to add. But apparently, my grandma had a ghost in one of her places, and apparently, this ghost did not like cakes, or it just didn't like my grandma because she swore up and down that it didn't matter what. Whenever she would make a cake, the cake would always end up on the floor. And she says they weren't in that place very long, but I was like, her big supernatural story was just like she whenever she'd bake a cake, the cake would always end up on the floor. It didn't matter what she did to try to protect the cake, and it would only happen to cake. It never happened to pies. It would never happen like any other dessert, brownies, ice cream, just cakes. Bye, Chantel. Good night, buddy. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Thank you. You have a good night. Oh, I'm not even in shot. Painting this little corner. I love to hear it. So yeah, I guess I got some ghost stories, but like nothing major. Just that train, and I can't even tell you exactly what happened because like it freaked me out. I can't imagine any kid not getting freaked out with something like that happening. I don't know if I've been to Jerome. I've been to Prescott, Tempe, of course, Phoenix, Kingman, like Havasu. I may have driven through Jerome, but I've only been up into the mountains of Arizona a couple of times. And I have a feeling Jerome's up in the mountains. Is it up in the Arizona mountains? Because the name sounds familiar, so I feel like I've seen it on like signs. I just don't remember if I've been there or not. I've been through a couple ghost towns in Arizona. Arizona's got some good ones too. Oh, Tombstone. I have been to Tombstone. Totally. I always forget Tombstone. That was because like um where were we in California? We were at a ghost town in California. Was it Calico? I think it was Calico. And then in the next day we were at Tombstone. So like I know Tombstone's not in California, but it was because I was in California for that trip, and then we just made that side stop in Arizona. Okay, so I think I have like that would have been 2006. I wasn't 21 yet. So yeah, that would have been 2006. That's been quite some years. All right, Illustrated, you have a good one. Oh, stay safe. Sending you all the positive vibes that you are safe from any tornadoes. I felt like Tombstone was too much of a tourist trap. I liked Calico a little bit better because Calico we were able to explore more by ourselves. Where like at Tombstone, I felt like everything was just too commercialized in a sense. It just it didn't feel authentic anymore. Like when we had gone, there was some kind of like production. Like it wasn't a movie or anything. It was just like they had scheduled gunfights that would go on, and like sponsors and stuff going on out there, and I just kind of like, oh, it doesn't feel like a ghost town anymore. I like the ghost towns where you can go and explore on your own, see the city, like, and just see how what's left of it, how it looks today, not all polished and just commercialized. That was the big thing I didn't like, was it just Tombstone felt so commercialized. I get why they did it, because yeah, it's a tourist trap. Of course, like, it's gonna make money. I probably would. One of my favorite, like, I love going to the outskirts of Virginia City, because so much of Virginia City was just left, and you can see like 100-year-old mining shacks and just all untouched. It's just all in the mountains, but there's warning signs everywhere, like unmarked mine shafts are ever present in the Nevada hillsides. So like, you get those signs like, warning, known mine shafts in the area, unmarked mine shafts in the area, and you're just like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to go any further because I don't want a chance falling through the ground. Yeah, I would probably like to. I should probably do another road trip soon. Plan one out where I can go see more of the ghost towns. You just got to be careful from pumas. We do have pumas out here, and I have been hunted, or I was being not hunted. I was being hunted, and you can tell when you're being hunted by a puma, because they start marking the area and you can smell them. And so like, I haven't seen very many, but there's been a few times where I've been on hikes, even like when I was a kid with my dad, we like he realized and then told us when we got back so we wouldn't panic, that we were being hunted by a puma. Yeah, you got to be really careful with the pumas. They are one of those animals in the desert you do not mess around with. But at least you get notice from them. I will say, like, that's the only good thing about it, is when you're being hunted, because they'll start marking the area to keep other pumas away. So like, at least you're given warning out here in the desert. Unlike with some of the other desert animals, like with the rattlesnake, like, you get warning with them, but sometimes you won't even hear them, because sometimes their rattles aren't making the right kind of noise, so like, you just don't hear it. But that's why I always tell my friends when we visit, like, if we go hiking, you got to wear pants. Like, well, it's hot. I don't care if it's hot. You got to wear pants. You got to wear jeans. This will be like 105 degrees. I want to wear shorts. You got to wear pants. Like, I don't care. You need protection from things that could bite you. You need to wear pants. They're pretty. I do love that we have mountain lions. It's just scary when you're on a hike and you can, like, all of a sudden smell them and you're like, I'm being hunted. And you can't panic, like, because they can sense that you're panicking. So like, you can't panic. You just got to breathe. Just one of the things I remember telling myself, just breathe in, breathe out. Just head to the car. Breathe in, breathe out. You're gonna be fine. All right, Molly, I hope you have a wonderful night. Enjoy your conversation with your mom. Yes, the pink was the right choice. Oh, we will. I'm only going to be painting for like another 45 minutes, so I might get the clover flowers done, but I will be doing the dandelions the next time. So I'm happy about that. So you won't be missing too much. They're so tiny, they're not even really showing up in the video. I might have to zoom in a little bit more. That is not going to work. That is not clear at all. Hmm. Kind of see him a little bit better. Although I will say, like, if you ever go hiking in the desert, the one animal that people tend to think are a problem and aren't are the coyotes. They might steal some of your food, and if you take a small dog with you, then you might be in trouble. But if you're just going on a hike, you don't have to worry about the coyotes. And if you see the coyotes, there typically will not be a mountain lion. Did it? It might be the quality on my other device. It looked a little grainy. I can't like go. I can only go so small with details. I wish I could go even smaller. But clover flowers just look like pink little balls anyway. Oh, we do not have javelinas. I have seen wild javelinas when I've been in Arizona. They scare me. And for those that aren't out on the west and don't know what javelinas are, they're wild pigs. They're like warthogs. And they Michelle is right. They are very aggressive. The only animal I've ever like seen in person while I was out hiking in the wild that scared me. I think me and my friend, we ended up just throwing a bunch of our food and just kind of like walking away, distracted them with other stuff while we could get away because like they were like making all sorts of aggressive noises at us and stomping. I just remembered them stomping too. Yeah, they do stink. Like moldy sweaters. I am glad we don't have javelinas up here. Oh, I gotta worry about hawks and eagles picking up my dogs. I gotta watch for those on hikes. We got like golden eagles and we have bald eagles, and they are big enough to pick up our poor little dogs. Are you talking about the cactus that, like, if you touch it, they break apart and they stick to you? You just gotta, like, brush up against it, and, like, the entire cactus is now stuck to you. Moldy sweaters and poop. That's what I would say javelinas smell like. I was like, I was missing the distinct smell of feces from them. Oh, what are they called? Are they choyos? Is that the kind of cactus they are? Choyos? Yeah, we had them down in Vegas. We don't really have them up here in Reno. We don't have very many cactus up here. We have some, like, I've seen. What are they called? I can't remember their name. But I don't really see very many cactus up here. We got a lot more of the shrubbery up here, like Mormon tea, um, and the other like smaller vegetation. Yeah, the choyas. Yeah, okay. I did have it right. Yeah, and it's because of the way that they grow. Like when they grow, the bottom parts of them die, and then the living parts grow out of the dead parts, which makes them super like easy to like break apart. And so yeah, you got to watch out for them because they'll attack you. And the owls out here are crazy too. That's I've only ever seen one pet get taken by a bird, and it was an owl, and I felt so helpless. I didn't even know the cat. I just happened to see the cat, and then I saw it get picked up by the owl, and I wanted to cry. It happened so quick. I could not believe how like the I was sitting on the steps of my old apartment, and it was near the parking lot, and I could just see the cat walking across the street, and then just out of nowhere I just saw this like blackness fly by, and it swooped up and picked up the cat, but the thing was so silent. I never really saw owls out in the wild either, unless they were just perched. This was the first time like seeing one hunting, and it was just, I couldn't believe how quiet it was. That was what really stuck with me. No, Joshua trees are further south. We have some yuccas, but not the Joshua tree yuccas. I love the Joshua trees. That's more the Mojave Desert, just west of Las Vegas, outside of Death Valley. We have bristlecone pines, white pines. So we do get some pine trees, and the bristlecones are my favorite. Bristlecones are like most of them are like 5,000 years old. They're some of the oldest trees in the world. And they're all gnarled and crazy looking. I love the bristlecones. They are one of my favorite desert plants, just because of how crazy they look. You have the Joshua trees down there too? Okay. Yeah, we're just a little too far north for the Joshua trees. Oh, we do have the prickly pears. I wasn't sure if we had prickly pears up here. Yeah, we do have prickly pears. They're the cactus that I see up here when I go on hikes. They look just a little bit different. Oh, and beaver tails. That's another one that will break apart, are the beaver tails. And you can't see them, but you'll step in them, and then they like just they cover your entire shoe because they're so low to the ground, and they're like gray color, so you don't necessarily see them. They just look like rocks, but you'll step in them, and then all the cactus will just stick to your shoes. I will say Arizona has some of the prettiest one. The saguaros and all of the prickly pears that bloom down there in the springtime. It's so pretty. So long as there's no haboobs coming, no desert storms. I've gotten caught in a couple desert storms in Arizona. Your guys' storms are on a whole other level. I feel like the pink is disappearing, but it's making the green look more green. Because, like, I feel like when I'm just looking here, like, I could see it's green, but it just looks green. Where, like, when I'm looking right here where I've done the pink, I feel like the green is standing out a little bit more. It's popping. And I feel like it's just making the pink disappear. Yes. All right. I love the bristlecone pine. This is the bristlecone pine. I freaking love them. And they come in so many colors. The reds, the whites, the oranges. And they're just so gnarled and crazy looking. And they're alive. That's the like, this is why I love them so much. Like, they look dead, but they're alive. And there's forests up here, like at the Great Basin National Park. They're just filled with these gnarled looking pine trees. They're my favorite trees. They can live for thousands of years. The oldest one was called Methuselah, and they cut it down. They didn't realize it was the oldest tree ever recorded when they cut it down, but they were like taking samples, and the unfortunately the tree that they picked out they discovered was like the oldest in the area. But luckily after that it like kickstarted conservation efforts to not take them down just because of how old they are. I love them so much. They are such cool little trees. And I shouldn't say little because they're big trees, but they're cool trees. Bristlecone pines. I've painted and drawn so many bristlecone pines in my life just because of the way they look. I actually have a painting coming up for a video this Sunday that I have bristlecones in. Yeah, anything that can live thousands of years like that, I think like there's so much history with those trees. It really adds to their beauty, and they look so unique. They're like the sequoias, which I am also trying to plan a trip out to this summer. I haven't been to Sequoia National Park in so long. I need to go see the general. I haven't seen him in years. And I have the perfect book. I'm going to end up taking this with me because Emma made the perfect prompt book to do art stuff when you go on trips. And so I'm going to take this with me when I go to Sequoia National Park. And I'm going to do some prompts in it. And I'm going to show you guys. If you ever get an opportunity, I highly, highly encourage it. You, especially if you've seen big cities, it's like the natural version of a big city. These trees are unbelievably tall. They are like skyscrapers. And so like the only thing I could compare it to is like the first time you walk into a really big city filled with skyscrapers, that moment of awe you feel looking at how tall everything is. You feel that, but with these trees. Not trying to take away from the redwoods there. The redwoods are also really impressive, but the sequoias are just they're really cool trees. I do too. I don't think she knows I have her book yet. Because it's too late for her to watch my lives. And so like I've only shown the book in my lives and I don't know if she rewatches them. So I don't know if she knows I have her book. But I am planning trips for it, like with it for the summer. Like Tahoe. Definitely want to go to Sequoia. Possibly Yosemite or Mammoth Lake. Because I feel like I have some wonderful natural spots around me I have to showcase. And maybe even get to take it to a ghost town. I've only been in Chicago's airport. I have not had a chance to actually like go through Chicago. And I really want to see the art museum out in Chicago. That is definitely on like my to-do list if I can ever get out to Chicago. Which one of my best friends lives in Normal or Bloomington outside of Chicago. I need to make a trip someday to go see her. Japan is on my bucket list. I have not been to Tokyo or anywhere in Japan, but I have always been fascinated with Japan, Japanese history, Japanese culture, to come to find out like my grandpa was Japanese. He came over during World War II, but he had plastic surgery done to change his facial features so that like people wouldn't bother him, and then he never talked about it, and the only reason we found out was through old paperwork and DNA testing that other family members had gotten, and then it caused us to look more into him, and we found out like, oh, he was Japanese. And so like it's really on my bucket list. I'm like, I have family ties out there. I kind of want to go see Japan and just see what part of my family is from. I agree. Spam does need some more support. I love her stories so much. Did you watch today's video, her April Fool's video with Ham World and her redoing some of her favorite spam artwork? Yeah, if I go there, I definitely want to like stay to go see stuff. I want to see the temples. I want to do some hikes, go to Mount Fuji, of course, go through Tokyo, see if I could do a tour in the Pokemon headquarters at Game Freak. Yeah, we never knew. I was super little whenever I saw pictures of him, because I think he had passed away before I was even born. But we never knew, and my grandma never talked about him. And then she passed away, oh, like early 2000s. And so like it kind of we thought disappeared with her, but then like all the DNA testing and um the ability to like locate paperwork became so much more prevalent. And that was, I had family members, they went and had their tests done and found out like my on my mom's side of the family, I'm half German, half Japanese, which I thought was really cool. Makes a little bit more sense for some of the bullying I got when I was in school. Because apparently it's a little bit more noticeable in my eyes. And one of the things I would get bullied with was like, open your eyes, David, open your eyes. So like, I'm like, oh, well, now that makes a little bit more sense. Kids are mean, and they picked up on it before I even realized it. Not as exciting on my dad's side. The dad's side of the family is Dutch and English mainly, like Hoffmans and Turners. My mom's side, it's I don't know the Japanese side of the family's last name because grandpa even had a name change. He really just tried disappearing into society, which I don't blame him. During World War II, when he made his way into the country, I don't blame him for just getting some plastic surgery done and blending in. Yep. Hood eyes. That's why all of my make like whenever I would do drag, I would glue stick down my eyebrows so they were flat, and I would just use like I go through my eyebrow for eyeshadow, and then just do my eyebrows above them for my drag makeup. Because like if I ever did my eye like my actual eyelids, I'd spend all that time on them, and then as soon as I open my eyes, all that work is gone. It just disappears. Yeah, the pictures I do remember seeing of him, uh, you could not tell in his eyes that he was Japanese, and that's where I think he had all of his surgery, was to change the shape of his eyes. Which I kind of wish he didn't, but I understand why he did. He needed to be safe. I will say though, he did live an interesting life. He was able to start a so he was my great grandpa and my great grandma. They like he had started a cafe coffee shop on the Paramount lot in Hollywood. So him and my mama, they ran the coffee shop, and then they raised my grandma like they're in the cafe. And what's funny is we have pictures of my grandma and Shirley Temple playing together, because my grandma was one of the only other little girls on the Paramount Studios because my great grandparents would take her to work with her. And so like we have I think Shirley Temple was a little bit older than my grandma, but like she loved seeing my grandma because my grandma was so little, and she loved taking care of babies. And so like we have pictures of Shirley Temple and my grandma together in black and white from the Paramount Studios. So like I have familial ties to Shirley Temple, which I thought is pretty cool, especially knowing like her advocacy work later on in life. Yeah, my mama. She didn't like great grandma, so she was mama. I remember, I'm not that old. I'm not old enough to be a great grandma. So it was mama. I wouldn't mind getting more of those photos though. Like I don't have any copies of them, but I do like think it would be kind of cool to get some of those pictures if I could ever find them. I think most of them ended up with one of my aunts. Oh, and the other thing though about my grandpa from Japan, he had a crazy beard too. I had already had my beard. I was already doing my mustache and all that stuff when I saw his picture, and he had a crazy beard too. And I was like, oh my gosh, it runs in the family. He had a very stylized beard. She was definitely a really cool little actress. Very big heart. So motherly at such a young age, because the picture I remember seeing was her. It was Shirley Temple holding my grandma, and then another one was them playing together at the cafe. I know there's got to be more photos out there of the two of them together. I only saw those two though. It's growing back. It's getting to that weird size where it likes to hook in and like poke my upper lip, and I don't like it. So like I'm like, all right, it's growing back. It's at my least favorite period, but I only have like maybe a week or two left of that before it will get long enough where it will no longer like stab my upper lip, and I can like comb it out again. It's really funny though, like no one else in my family did crazy beards. Like they're all clean, really short beards in my family. All the pictures I've seen like on my dad's side and the ones that I've seen on my mom's side from like uh her dad's side of the family, they're all very short, traditional looking beards. But then like yeah, I saw his and he's got a long, very stylized beard. I was like, I'm not even the first in my family. I sometimes wonder like what he did, because there's also not a lot of artists that I'm aware of in my family. So I'm like wondering like where did all these art skills come from? Well, like musicians, yes, we've had singers and musicians and stuff in our family, but and I do play the clarinet and saxophone, but not very many painters or artists. So I'm wondering, like, is that's more on that side of the family because we know so little about that side of the family. I condition and I flat iron my beard. I like to be able to have a nice straight, clean, like looking beard. So I do lots of conditioning, lots of oils, and I flat iron it. I have a little flat iron. They make beard flat irons that I use that to like straighten it out just to keep it all soft and cleaned up. I won't keep what I do to my beard. Like yeah, I use a straight iron for my beard. I definitely want to do some more deep diving into it when the world's a little less crazy. And hopefully, maybe one day, have a chance to take a trip out to Japan and see if I could find out more information about that side of the family. Because if there are any records, they're gonna be Japanese. And so many of the genealogy sites are currently just so European focused that there's a lot that's left out from other countries. But I feel like if I were to go to Japan, there's a possibility I could find more information on him. But I wonder if he was a painter. Because I did feel like there was always a strong connection with that part of me, even though I didn't know it. Just like with my fascination with Japanese culture, mythology, history, and a lot of self-teaching. Like maybe there's a part of him that was speaking to me, just like wanted me to know that he existed. And like I wonder if he was a painter or if anybody in his family was a painter, and that's where I get it from. They do make really thin flat irons specifically for beards, but I will say like you really got to condition your beard, otherwise you're going to fry it. And that's the other thing, like so many men that I do know that also flat iron their beards, they don't let their beards fully dry, and like you got to let your beard dry, you're frying your beard. They like you got to like watch how women take care of their hair, that flat iron their hair and keep it looking healthy. Well, a woman's not going to tell me how to take care of my beard. If they know how to flat iron and they know how to take care of their hair with a flat iron, then yes, they can help you take care of your beard. That's my only thing is like you got to make sure your beard is fully dry. Do not fry it. Because then it's going to make your beard super, super scratchy and it's not going to be soft. Because your beard will be super soft after flat ironing it unless it's full of split ends and damage. And then it gets really scratchy and it looks really bad. That's funny. Oh, you know what I bet it was? You said wedding. You went to Tokyo and it was for a wedding. And so the algorithm is probably not off. It's like, oh, Gray Cloud said wedding. How's it going, Rory? If I well now that I've started a YouTube, if I'm ever able to get more information, then like I could turn that into a YouTube video. I know the German side of me, they were brewers and sausage makers. And like the German side of me is Schroeder, not Schroeder with a D, Schroeder with a T. Very unique spelling of Schroeder. And our coat of arms is a stag beetle, which is the only coat of arms I've ever seen where an insect was like the animal on a coat of arms, which I thought was pretty cool. Oh, nice. We've had clouds all day and rain. Oh, I got about like 10 more minutes. Just giving you all a heads up because then I got to go start making dinner myself. I'm going to do chicken and gravy with mashed potatoes tonight. Probably steamed carrots and broccoli. I could paint my coat of arms because I do know it, yeah. And I don't have anything with the coat of arms. That would be cool. And I could look up some history about the Schroeder side of me. That side of my family also came to the United States during World War II. All we know is my great grandpa didn't like what was happening, and he was on a U-boat patrolling off of the coast of North Carolina. And when they breached, he was close enough to the shoreline that he jumped ship, swam to shore, and went into hiding. Yes, I will definitely talk more about what I can find. I am getting more and more curious as I'm getting older, so I think that could be fun. Just little things to add into my videos. A rampant cat. Oh, you can't escape cats. Cats are just, they're one of those animals that humans have always loved. Except for that one period in time when they didn't love cats. But we don't talk about that period of time. That's why medieval cats look so weird, if you ever wondered. Because they hated cats. They thought cats were the devil. And so you weren't allowed to paint accurate depictions of cats. And that's why during the medieval period, all the cats look so wonky. So I had a pretty accurate image of a rampant cat because I imagined like a cat like meowing violently but up on its hind legs looking like it's ready to attack. So I feel like that was a pretty close image I invoked in my head. I think I'll do white down here because I don't want them to get mixed up too much with these. It's the ADHD in me. If something interests me, I will look it up, and my brain holds on to it. I learn better with things that hold my interest. If I'm interested in a topic, I will hold on to all of the knowledge about it. If it's something I'm not really interested in, I would just struggle to remember it. And that was one of the things because I always thought it was weird, like how we went from like ancient Rome and Egyptians that were depicting fairly accurate depictions of animals and humans to like the medieval period where everything became super stylized and really weird looking, then to back to the Renaissance and everything looking very realistic and like accurate depictions. And so like I looked into like why was the medieval period so weird to art? And it was just the style of the time. It was absolutely a stylistic choice. They liked it. And so that was what all the artists pursued because it was just the style of luxury, I guess. So like I kind of compare it to like the cartoon characters of today. They're super stylized and like they're humans, but they can look really wonky at times, and that's kind of what medieval art is. It's just early cartoons. Yeah, they're gonna be the clovers. I didn't want to do any white around these flowers because there's already white here, but as I'm looking at it, I do think I'm going to need variation in the clover flowers. So I'll do the white clover flowers down here, a little bit of pink around here, and then do the rest in white, just so like there's some separation between the two different types of white flowers. The dandelions will be yellow. I'm going to do a darker green leaf, and they're going to be taller than the clover, so the leaf will be a little bit more visible. And they're going to be yellow dandelions. I might do some of the puffs, so there might be some white with them. But I guess it works because I got the stars up in the sky. So there's some white up in the sky too. No, these are pink. I am using pink first. That's the color I'm currently using. So I am going pink, but they come in two colors. You can have pink and white clover flowers. You can also get the hybrids that are pink on the bottom and then they're white on the top. I would always look for those flowers when I was really little, making flower chains. They were my favorite to use because they had two colors. I felt like they were better. I'm glad I didn't go with another color though in the clover. I was debating if I wanted to do another color, but I do feel like the pink just it tied them together. I feel like the white will do the same. I loved making flower chains. I would give them to my friends and my teacher. And I try to make like a crown. But usually I could only get a bracelet done before like the stems would break. I'm going to finish this area right here, and then I will go ahead and end for the night. Because I got to go start peeling potatoes. What else did I do with flowers? Oh, honeysuckles. I loved sucking on honeysuckles. When I was really little, we had a whole bunch of honeysuckle bushes around my house. Like neighbors had honeysuckles. And one, the cows loved honeysuckle, so I would pick the plants and take them over to the cows because they didn't have any honeysuckles growing on their side. But like that was one of the things that I would do when I'd go into like the pasture with the cows. I would bring them honeysuckles so that they would come up to me and I could pet them. But I also liked sucking on the ends of the honeysuckle flower because they were so sweet. All right, Michelle, you have a good one. I hope you enjoy your dinner. I'm going to be finishing this off and then signing off myself. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I know you guys are getting antsy too because you know what time's coming up. Why are you crying now? Are you gonna let me? No, you're not gonna let me finish. Okay. Why are you yelling at me? Well, I guess it is gonna be time for me to end because they're telling me I need to end. Oh my gosh, I know. Hey, hey, hey. No, we don't need to yell. We don't need to yell. All right. Hey. Hey, we don't need to yell. Sir. Sir. Look at them. I know. You guys are getting hungry. Okay. Yeah, it's good time for me to go. They're getting pushy, but I got a lot done. So, yeah. I hope you all stay safe out there. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, night, day, whatever time it may be. Bye, you beautiful people. Hey, I know.